Have you ever finished a run and thought, that didn't feel hard enough? Should I have done more? Or maybe you've had days where you force yourself to push the pace, not because it's part of a plan, but because slowing down feels like failure. And deep down, there's this belief driving it all that if I'm not running hard, I'm not improving. So you push, you override fatigue, you turn easy runs into moderate runs and moderate runs into hard runs, and yet somehow you're still not getting faster. If anything, you feel stuck or tired or like you're constantly working hard but never quite breaking through. Today I want to challenge that belief at its core, because what if the reason you're not getting faster isn't because you're not working hard enough, but because your definition of hard work is completely off? Welcome back to Your Running Coach with GMacSpurr, the show where we unpack the mindset patterns that shape your running and either hold you back or move you forward. I'm Gillian, a running mindset coach, and today we're diving into one of the most common and most limiting beliefs I see in runners, that running harder equals getting faster. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand why this belief is so convincing, how it's quietly sabotaging your progress, and the one mindset shift that will change how you train and how you improve completely. So where did this belief come from? Let's start here, because this belief doesn't come out of nowhere. You've probably been praised your whole life for working hard in school, in work, in life. Effort equals reward. Push more, get more. So of course you bring that into running. It makes perfect sense that you'd think if I push harder in every run, I'll get results faster. But running doesn't operate like that. Running isn't just effort-based, it's adaptation-based. And adaptation doesn't come from constant effort. It comes from the right stimulus, followed by the right recovery. But if you don't trust that, you default back to what feels safe, pushing harder. Because pushing harder feels like control. It feels productive. It feels like you're doing something, even when it's not actually helping you improve. Let's make this real, because this belief isn't just something you think, it shapes how you run every single week. Here are 3 ways this belief shows up in your training. Number 1, you don't trust easy runs. You head out for an easy run, but within minutes you're checking your pace. And if it's slower than usual or a number that you judge as too slow, you feel uncomfortable. You start thinking, this is too slow, I'm going to lose fitness, I should speed up. So you do. Not because your body needs it, but because your brain is trying to protect that identity of being someone who works hard. The second one is you turn every run into the same effort. Not truly easy, not truly hard, just somewhere in the middle. That 6 or 7 out of 10 effort that feels like you're working, but isn't specific enough to trigger real adaptation. So what happens? Your easy days aren't easy enough to recover, and your hard days aren't hard enough to improve speed. And you end up stuck in this grey zone where everything feels effortful, but nothing really changes. And third, you measure success by how hard it felt. After a run, instead of asking, did I execute the purpose of this session? You ask, did I push myself enough? And if the answer is no, you feel like the run didn't count. And that's the belief in action. It's not just guiding your training, it's defining your standards. And those standards are what is keeping you trapped. And here's the part most runners don't realise. This belief doesn't just make training harder, it makes progress slower, because you're constantly running at a moderate to hard effort. You accumulate fatigue faster than you can recover. Your nervous system stays in a constant state of stress. Your body never fully absorbs the harder sessions because it's never truly fresh. And mentally, you start associating running with pressure, not progress. So even though you feel like you're given more, you're actually given less. Less adaptation, less consistency, less confidence. That's the cost of this belief. And if we were to go one layer deeper, this isn't really about pace, it's about identity. A lot of runners tie their self-worth to being disciplined, hardworking, someone who pushes, someone who gets results every race day, heck, even every week expecting times to improve. So slowing down doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it feels like you're becoming someone you're not. That's why it's so hard to let go of this, because it's not just changing how you run, it's changing how you see yourself. So here's the shift that changes everything. Hard work in running is not about how hard each run feels. It's about how well you execute the purpose of each run. Let me say that again. Hard work is execution, not exhaustion. Sometimes the hardest thing you can do is hold yourself back on an easy day. Sometimes the hardest thing is trusting that slower today leads to faster later. And sometimes the hardest yet is letting go of the need to prove yourself on every run. Because real progress comes from contrast, easy versus hard, and trusting yourself, not constant effort. A runner who's made the shift, they go into a run knowing exactly what it's for. If it's easy, they protect that, even when it feels too slow. If it's hard, they fully commit to it because they're actually recovered enough to do it well. And after they run, they measure success by, did I execute what this run required of me? Not, did I push enough? That's the difference. That's the mindset shift. And that is where results happen. So each podcast episode, I give you some journal prompts for you to dive a little bit deeper into the topic that we have been discussing. So grab your journal and pen, or if you prefer to use the notes app on your phone, get it open. I highly encourage you to do these journal prompts because listening to a podcast episode doesn't really change much until you scratch below the surface. And in order to scratch below the surface, you need to do the work. So the journal prompts are the work. Okay, ready? Where in my training do I equate hard with effective? Question 2. What do I fear might happen if I truly slow down on my easy runs? Number 3. How do I currently define a good run? Number 4. What would change if I measured success by execution instead of effort? And who would I be as a runner if I trusted the process instead of trying to prove myself every session? I would love to hear some of your answers. So if you would like to share them with me, you can either send me an email or a DM on Instagram. I'm at GMacSpurr Coaching. And if this episode hit home and you're starting to see how your mindset, not your ability, is what's been holding you back, you don't have to figure this out on your own. Inside my program, the Runner Identity Project, we go deeper into exactly this work. We identify the beliefs shaping your training, shift the ones that are keeping you stuck, and build a mindset that actually supports your progress so you can get faster with clarity and confidence, not constant pressure. So if you're ready for that shift, you can book a call with me through the links in the show notes, because getting faster isn't about doing more. It's about thinking differently and training in a way that finally matches it. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Happy running. Bye for now.